Come on. And these pronouns. What the fuck is with the pronouns? He, she, him, they, the, boom, bang, ba, bang, cool.
Sylvester Stallone, the Hollywood legend we all know from Rocky and Rambo, isn't just fighting villains on screen anymore. He takes on a new battle against woke culture, fed up with Hollywood's obsession over pronouns and political correctness. Stallone's latest stand has left Tinseltown reeling. It's like he's saying what everyone's been thinking but hasn't dared to say. Can you believe the guy who once took down entire armies is now taking a swing at Hollywood's unwritten rules? So you ready to see how Stallone is tearing down the woke walls in his unapologetic way?
Long before The Rock, there was Rocky. Now one of the biggest stars of the big screen is taking on TV. Lee Cowan is in conversation with Sylvester Stallone.
Sylvester Stallone's take on the pronouns craze and woke culture in general couldn't have come at a better time. In a world where Hollywood seems obsessed with the latest trends in gender pronouns, Stallone comes in swinging with a no-nonsense approach that left people talking. He didn't mince words, he simply called it out for what it was, a distraction.
You know what my pronoun is? Guess. Time's up. It, as in it.
What got people talking was his declaration of his pronoun it, and not just any it. He says it, as in he can't take this shit anymore. You can almost hear him saying it, can't you? With this classic Stallone delivery, it's both the punchline and a statement. And here's the thing, he's not just making a joke, he's pointing out how absurd this whole thing has gotten. While Hollywood and social media are busy crafting rules about how we refer to each other, Stallone's over here saying he's had enough. He's not going to waste his time getting tangled up in it. And honestly, why should he?
I cherish these moments, I cherish hard work, even though I hate it. I know it's like strong medicine. It tastes horrible going down.
Meanwhile, Stallone's looking at the bigger picture, the real values that matter. Things like family, loyalty, and patriotism. He sees right through the whole charade. While everyone else is busy making sure they don't step on any toes, Stallone's kicking down the door, pointing out that maybe, just maybe, there are bigger issues we should be dealing with. People are tired of walking on eggshells, of being told they have to conform to every new social trend just to stay relevant. Stallone's not having any of it, and that's why his stance resonates, because it's genuine. It's not about being trendy, it's about being true to yourself. In a world that's gone off the rails with endless categories and labels, Stallone's simple response, it, is a reminder that we don't have to play by these new rules if we don't want to.
Grabbing life by the seat of the pants, going with your gut instinct, it's over.
Sylvester Stallone doesn't just see Hollywood's push toward political correctness as annoying, he sees it as downright suffocating. The industry that once prided itself on pushing boundaries and telling bold stories has become a place where artists have to conform or risk getting the boot. It's as if there's an unwritten rule hanging over everyone's head. Play by the woke rulebook or get canceled. Stallone isn't one to play by anybody's rules, and that's why he's speaking out.
When Rocky would never be made today. This never would have happened. It's over. The majority. The Godfather wouldn't be made today.
He's made it pretty clear that Hollywood today wouldn't touch films like Rocky or The Godfather with a 10-foot pole. Those movies, with their grit, their complex characters, and their unapologetic take on life, would never get past the woke gatekeepers running the show. Imagine pitching Rocky today. A rough around-the-edges boxer with no fancy background, no gimmicks, just sheer determination and heart. It would get tossed aside for not fitting the right message. And as for The Godfather, with its unapologetic exploration of loyalty, power, and family ties, forget it. Hollywood's too busy watering down stories to avoid offending anyone.
I don't think it's going to ever have the golden era that it's had by far, because the audience, the demographic is different. They're now watching films on an iPhone. So it's not as though the theater has become this habitual shrine.
Stallone believes that the audience has changed and that Hollywood has lost its courage. Plain and simple. The industry that once dared to question everything, to make people uncomfortable, to make them think, that Hollywood is gone. These days it seems more interested in virtue signaling than making movies that say something real. Stallone isn't having any of it. He sees right through the veneer of political correctness and calls it what it is, a cop-out. It's easier for Hollywood to push out cookie-cutter stories that toe the line than it is to stand up for the values that once made American cinema great.
They don't even allow these today because they're so dangerous. But that's what they used when I did the film. I still have them because it's a time when people were tougher.
What happened to movies that celebrated strength, resilience, and good old-fashioned values? Stallone's films are a throwback to those days, and he knows it.
You see this guy here staring back at you?
Yeah?
That's your toughest opponent. Every time you get into the ring, that's who you're going against.
But he also knows that Hollywood doesn't have the guts to back films like his anymore. The industry has traded in stories of personal strength and redemption for narratives that tick the right boxes, but leave viewers feeling empty. Stallone believes that's not just a loss for cinema, it's a loss for everyone.
When we force ourselves into tough situations, that's what the human creature is supposed to do. They're not supposed to have wheels on their suitcases. It's a convenience, no question, but it just makes things easier.
He's one of the few voices left in Hollywood willing to say it out loud. We need films that reflect the values that built this country, instead of bending over backward to please the woke crowd. Maybe it's time for Hollywood to remember what it used to stand for. Stallone's not just pushing back against political correctness for the sake of it. He's standing up for a return to stories that mean something. The kind of stories that resonate with people not because they're trendy, but because they're true.
Now with AI, you can literally put your brain in a pickle jar and have that machine do it.
Sylvester Stallone isn't one to shy away from values like patriotism, family loyalty, and common sense. While Hollywood often ignores these basics, Stallone's films brings them back to the forefront, making them feel like a breath of fresh air.
I cherish these moments. I cherish hard work. Even though I hate it, I know it's like strong medicine. It tastes horrible going down, but it makes you feel better.
His movies aren't just about heroes and action. They're about the principles that once defined American cinema. He compares the old generation to the new one and completely crushes them, calling them heavily reliant on AI without using their brains. And this has really backfired, because he started being left out of films for speaking his mind.
Because I've always wanted to play, and I never get cast. I've gone up to Scorsese, and they go, what is it going to take? What do I have to... Every movie, I'm being left out of it.
Yeah.
While Hollywood chases every new fad, Stallone sticks to what matters, putting timeless American values back on the big screen, and audiences can't get enough.